And I'm like sitting on the bed and I'm like, I'm just going to try it, like see if I can stand up. So I stood up, right? And I felt great. Like, oh my God. I was ready. Like I was walking around the room and the nurse turned and saw me and she's like, sit down. Like she like yelled at me, right? And I'm just like, oh, what? And she's like, you need to sit down. Like you can't do that. And I'm like, but I feel fine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of the On the Runs podcast. We are together, Erika, but we are in a different setting. Where are we? What are we doing?
I feel like we just traveled back in time. We are visiting our very good friend, Scott.
Scott Black from the Road is Kona series. We are at his place in his basement. We recorded here about a year ago, over a year ago.
Time,
it has. Remember, you were on the exercise ball.
Yes.
This time it's really nice. Scott gave me a desk. I have a desk and everything set up, and I'm looking at the two of you. Scott, welcome to the show. You were just saying this is your 5th time on the podcast?
Yes. Thanks for having me. I'm really very excited that it's my 5th time appearing on the podcast. So, as a member of the Five Timers Club, where's my robe?
Oh, we're working on that.
How about a nice towel instead?
So it is his 5th, I guess, if we think about it, because part 1, 2, and 3, really you've only been on 3 times. Part 1, 2, and 3. This will be your 4th, but we're recording part 4, which will come out next month, of the Road to Kona series. That will make 5. However, in those 5, we've only been together recording. This is our 2nd time. Because last time, do you remember, we came here
5 hours just talking to each other. It was a lot of fun.
We realized it's like almost 10 o'clock and no one ate dinner, but we fixed that today. We solved the problem.
Subs. Yes, we had some good dinner finally.
Subs.
So because Scott is giving us his basement podcast studio here with his bike over there and the trainer, and he's got the whole training set up over there. You can see it behind Scott. Oh, actually, all you can see is the TV. We'll get
all the better to watch the Marvel movies on.
We'll get some content on his setup later for you. But because of that, we decided we need to bring food. We had to eat so we wouldn't be hangry or anything. And it's kind of our thing now. The 2nd time. But last time the sub shop screwed our order up and we said we'll give them one more try.
Yeah.
What happened today?
They messed up yours.
Yeah.
Mr. Dairy Free had cheese on it. Somebody else's shot.
Yeah. Scott, do you have any suggestions in the area? Any sub shops you want to we should venture out to?
Don't ask me for the names of any sub shops.
You can give us general directions. That'll be perfect.
Well, next time we do something here, and we have to figure out when that's going to be, because we have to figure out what you're doing next, and we have to motivate you to do something again.
I need motivation.
Yeah, you do. So we need to get to our Scott interview for part 4 and talk about Kona. So we're going to send everyone here listening to episode 61 to our interview with Beth Neuts.
Oh, I'm so excited. We bonded over calling her Neutsy because I call you Newt all the time.
Yeah.
So she's Neutsy, and she was just so much fun. She's just a bundle of joy. So I hope you all enjoy her interview.
Yeah, she was awesome. So everyone, you're going to really like Beth from up in Maine. She loves that lobster, and she's got a really cool race she's training for that's coming up this weekend.
Yes.
And she's done a couple Boston marathons, some really good, some not so good. She's got some pretty good pregnancy stories. And I remember trying to still figure out how much her mom loves her running or not running, or just wants to be supportive but not support. We'll let you guys find out. Our next guest on the pod, she found us. She reached out. She's from the state of Maine, right next door. The lobster might taste a little better over there, though. She found us, and we're going to talk about an amazing weight loss journey, quite the pregnancy story, and a whole lot more. We're super excited to have Beth Neuts on the On the Runs podcast. Beth, what is up?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun.
Welcome, Beth. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
We've just reading the show notes. I'm so excited to hear, you've got quite the story. So I can't wait to jump right in.
Definitely.
first thing before we jump in, I want to know, you found us. How did you find us?
Oh my gosh. So I actually so I'm an ambassador for Her Tribe Athletics, which is a company in New Hampshire, and
We
Lindsay,
love Meg.
yes, she's amazing. And Lindsay, who was on a few weeks ago, the baker who makes the delicious cupcakes, she's also an ambassador.
Mhm.
And
Amazing.
she and I were on the same team for the Boston Marathon. So I knew she was
Just
on you
this
guys'
past year.
podcast. Yeah. So
Team Honda, shout
yeah,
out.
it was awesome. So I heard her and then I was listening to you guys. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is awesome. And you guys are local to me. So next state over.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, next state over. I consider Maine a home state.
Yeah.
Maine's great. Mass is cool, but Maine's great. New Hampshire's awesome.
You're like,
We
Mass is
vacation.
cool. Eh.
We vacation
Mass
in New
need-
Hampshire every summer. So
And people go to Maine on vacation because it's vacation land.
that's right.
But I drive in Massachusetts every day, and I think those are the worst roads in America.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
even think I've seen that before. Mass has the
The
worst
worst maintained ones?
Yeah,
I can
Oh.
vouch for that, yeah.
they're awful. They're awful. Erica's right on
Sorry,
the
Mass.
yeah. Erica's right on the border, so she'll like just
Oh,
go
okay.
over, then pothole, then she'll like
Mhm.
cross over to her side of
Instantly
the road.
nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maine is beautiful though. So tell us a little bit about you and life in Maine.
Oh my gosh. So, well, I love living in Maine. I went to school in upstate New York. Like that's where I went to college. And then I did a year of my master's degree in Albany. And then I moved back to Maine because I missed it so much. And my whole family's here, so I wanted to be closer to them. And now I'm a long, strange, weaving journey to become a special education teacher. But I've been an special education teacher now for 10 years. It's the best job in the world. I love it. I love my students. Yeah, I'm just really lucky and I love living in Maine. So I probably will never leave again.
That's so exciting.
I
Are
gotta
you a
s-
big seafood person? Let me ask that.
Oh yeah.
Is that keeping
Definitely
you around?
lobster's the best. The clams are good. Yeah, just what's not to love about seafood in Maine, you know? So
My
Mhm.
dad, so we have lobster maybe 2-3 times a year, but one is always this big weekend at NASCAR in New Hampshire. And my dad always has a story about how they used to serve lobster in the prisons because it was like
yes.
they just ate what was on the bottom of the ocean floor, and they thought like lobster wasn't this amazing delicacy. And all these prisoners are like, ha, we got this amazing lobster and no one else is eating it. This is a long time ago. He always tells that story.
Yes.
I learned something today.
That's very true. That is a true thing. It's so here, like where my in-laws live, they live right like on the coast, and we just go down and get lobsters like right off the boat. So sometimes in the
Mm.
summer, we'll just go there, we'll get the lobsters,
Yeah.
then we'll go back to their house like 5 minutes away and have a
Oh,
lobster.
that's the
feed.
best.
Yeah, it's so much
That's
fun.
the best way. That's the best. Funny, when I did Ironman Maine, they served a lobster after.
Yep.
And Ashley signed up to do Ironman Maine as well. She didn't do it, but she still cashed in her ticket for the lobster after the race.
I don't blame her.
It's like, I'm not going to miss out on this lobster. So,
That's what they do
yeah.
at Beach to Beacon too. It's like a big, like the night after Beach to Beacon, it's a big lobster feed in Cape Elizabeth. So
That's a big 10K, right? That's a
Yes.
really big 10K
Oh,
in
yeah.
the area.
Yep.
Have you done it?
That's been on my list. I haven't done it yet.
oh my, that's my favorite. I do that every year. Joan Benoit Samuelson, she is like a huge deal like in my town. I went to school with her
She's
daughter.
from there, right?
Yeah, she's from Maine. Her daughter is like a couple years younger than me, and we went to the same high school. So
Cool.
Joan just like hangs out, obviously, like we played the same sports and stuff. So it was always really neat. And she would come in to when I was before I was a teacher, I worked at a grocery store. I was a manager there, and she came into my store one day to get corn for the lobster feed, and this guy was behind her in line, and he was like staring at her, and he was like, like, you're Joan Benoit Samuelson. And she's she's the nicest person. She's very unassuming. Like, she doesn't like all the attention and the hubbub. So she's just very private. You know, she's a wonderful person. She's very nice. But she's standing there and you could just tell she was kind of uncomfortable. She goes, mm-hmm. And he goes, what are you doing here? And she just looks, and she's got this she has like a pallet of corn, right? And she goes, I'm buying corn. And the guy was just, wow. And it was so funny. And she was just like, I just want to buy some corn. I'm like, I know, Joni. I know.
Just let me
Yeah.
let me buy my corn.
Let me buy the
please.
corn. Yeah.
I'm buying corn. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And that guy, like, I'm sure he left and was like, "Oh my God, like I met Joe Benoit Samuelson at a grocery store," So it was pretty cool.
That's cool. Isn't that? I thought that race was hard to get into, like a lottery system or something.
It's well, the last couple, so yes, it's like you have to be right on your laptop, ready to go. The last couple years, it's been a little different. Like there was one year where they did like a different system and it totally messed up. So they went to a different system. Then after COVID, um, the first year it didn't sell out like it normally does, but this year it was back to you had to be right online at 7 a.m. to get your entry. So I'm in again. I'm very excited. So
Yes.
it's my
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I
When
totally
is it?
missed out on it. I forgot.
What weekend was
always
that?
it's always the first Saturday in August.
That's right. Because so my friend did that race and I wanted to sign up. I remember now. The first Sunday in August every year is this hike I do up Mount Washington. And that's why I could never do Beach to Beacon.
There you go.
But my friend Matt lives in Saco and he did it one year. And it was at that point, his longest race. Still today, his longest race. But he really like worked up for that one and focused and trained for it. Matt Grenier, you know Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
do.
went to college with him. So.
Of course. Beth, what did you play for sports in high school?
Oh my
And
God.
did you go into college playing sports as well?
Only in my dreams did I go into college playing sports. I played field
Mine too.
hockey. Field hockey was the sport I was best at. I was a goalie, and I loved it. That was my favorite sport. I love basketball. Like that was my dream. Like in my head, I'm Michael Jordan. I am not. I am nowhere near Michael Jordan and never will be. Actually, one of the best stories I have from high school basketball was my senior year. I was on the varsity team, and I was not the fastest person on my team, and I was running down the court because they had gotten a breakaway, and I just started sprinting, and I got there and I kind of like fouled the girl a little bit, nothing hard, just so like she wouldn't get the easy basket. And my coach called a timeout afterwards, and he like yelled at everybody on the team and was like, Newts should not be getting down there before everybody else. Like, she's the slowest person on the team. And I stood up and I said, yeah, I'm like, there's no reason that I should have gotten that foul. And everybody like started laughing, because they were just like, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not my job. I'm not the fast person. But yeah, so I played basketball and field hockey for 4 years. I played lacrosse for 2 years, and that was the sport I played with Joni's daughter. And
Very cool.
she is speedy and always was speedy, always will be speedy. And she was a good lacrosse player. She was a great cross country runner, but a good lacrosse player too. So
Were you a goalie in lacrosse too?
yes.
Okay.
And that was painful.
So you're a little crazy. You're a goalie. You're a little crazy. I always wanted to be a goalie, and I'm a little crazy. And I mentioned before we were recording that we actually named our kids the same name. But I'm not talking about our kids with 2 legs. I'm talking about our kids with 4 legs.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
Your cat's name is Tuca, and my dog, who sadly passed away a year ago, her name was Tuca.
My Tuca's a girl too.
Yes!
What are the odds?
And not only that, in basketball, all your friends called you Newt.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And Erika,
You guys have so much in common. I love it.
Erika, what do you call me every day?
It's Newt. Yeah, you'll hear it on the pod. Like every once in a while, I'll slip and I'll be like, I don't like calling him Eric. I don't know. It just seems weird. I've been calling him Newt for years now. So he's Newt, and you're Newt too.
Yeah, I was Newts in high school, and a lot of people call me Newts still, even though now my last name is different. But yeah, and I'm actually like a family nickname is Newtsy. My grandfather was Newtsy, and my dad, who is Richard Newts Jr., was Newtsy, and I was Newtsy for a lot of people. So it's crazy. But oh my gosh, yes, Tuca is our cat that we adore,
I love it.
Our youngest cat. So yeah.
Are there going to be any cat cameos today? Because I would love that.
Oh, I don't know.
She around?
My son, well,
no pressure.
Yeah, my son and my husband right now are having boys' night in the living room because they knew I was doing this. So to convince my son to like not be upset that I wasn't going to be there for bedtime, they're having boys' night, and so the cats are probably out there hanging out with them because that's more fun. So
that's fair.
Let's get into your life and running. So why don't you start with the beginning? And I don't know if that's the beginning when you started running or what led into you to begin running, because your journey in running is pretty inspirational.
Thank you. Yeah, so I started running because I worked at a grocery store, and the grocery store, it's a small family grocery store, and they put on a 5K every year. So our boss was like, if you run it and you finish, I'll give you back the entry fee. So I was like, okay, like can't hurt to do that. And my boss is like, I've known him my whole life. I went to that store like before I went home from the hospital, like when I was a baby. Like it's just like a really small family, like local store. So I've known him my whole life.
So
And
you leave the
Mhm.
hospital.
Yeah.
Your parents stop at the grocery store on their way home and
Yep.
bring you in before you even go. That's great.
That is correct. I actually, when I interviewed for the job, that was actually one of the stories I told, to be like, I actually went to your store before I even went home from the hospital, and everybody laughed. So yeah, so it's very popular. My son loves going there, but yeah, so when I started working there, that was the thing. Like, oh my gosh, you have to run the 5K, and we'll pay you back the entry fee. So I was like, okay. So I trained for it. I mean, I ran a couple times and thought it was fun. The night before the 5K, I like ate Indian food and like had a beer, and I was like, the next morning I woke up, I'm like, that wasn't a good idea. But went out, ran the 5K, finished. Actually, I won like a prize, because the thing about that 5K is like you're supposed to like predict your time. So if you're the closest to predicting your time, you win like a gift card. So I predicted
Wow.
my time and won a gift card, and I got my entry fee back.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Nice guess.
It was very exciting.
What was the gift card for? Was it like just a
for-
generic Visa,
It was for
or
the
was it like
store.
a Dunks?
Oh no,
Oh,
it was for the grocery
there you
store. So that was good. And then so I did it, and it was fun, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, if you do that, like you can run a 10K." And like a few weeks later, it was the LL Bean 10K in our town, which is a big, super awesome 10K. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll run that." Did that, and then my boss was like, "Well, if you can do a 10K, you can run a half marathon." And so me and one of my bosses ran the Maine half marathon, and we raised money for a Maine Children's Cancer Program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and that was my first half marathon, and um, that was rough at the end, because I ran and then I just stopped running, and I had never run that far, so then my legs locked up, and I was just like, oh my god.
well,
My
did you
boy-
do
Oh,
much
no.
training up to it?
I did. I mean, I followed like a training program. I worked with a girl who she ran in college. So when I was like, I'm going to run a half marathon, she was like, oh, let me write you a training program. And I followed that religiously. So I was ready for it. I just didn't know that, like, hey, when you stop running a half marathon, you don't just dead stop, you slow down. So your legs don't lock up. So that was a shock. But yeah, so that was sort of like the way in. And then from there, I mean, that was going on 12 years ago now. From there, I've ebbed and flowed with running. I had my son. I ran all through my pregnancy with my son. I ran to like 36 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. And that was always funny, because like when I would start running, it was like it was almost like he was like putting his arms out to like hold himself in place, because it would like startle him.
Jiggling a little too much.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And then he would like settle in, and I'd be like, okay. And yeah, so I ran all through my pregnancy, and
That's
was
impressive.
I was very strong through my pregnancy. Some amazing things because of my running, I think, that I was able to like do right after I had my son, and like all of that. It's just, I thank running for that. But then through COVID, we could run. There was also the weight gain, but then over the last 2 years, I've lost over 100 pounds from running, and I'm on this run streak. I'm on like 5-day 505 now.
That's
505.
amazing.
Yeah, I've run Boston the last 2 years. Like I've just been able to do some.
You run every day for 500 days. You don't do what Erika does, this run, walk crap. You run, right?
I run at least a mile. Like there's some days where like I'm not like, it's like, yeah, I run.
No, that's perfect. You run a mile. You don't walk a mile. You run it.
Yeah. Oh,
Erika over
Hey,
here.
I don't
she's-
appreciate the dig, Newt.
Wait, who are you talking to?
I'm-
Me or her?
I said Newt, not Newts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at you. But to each their own.
All right, so let me get this. Let me see if I'm following you right. You were running for a while, but then you had your baby, and we'll get to your birth story later.
Yeah.
And then after your baby, you credit running to help you get back into it, but then you had the weight gain after.
Yes. Yeah. So really it was COVID. Being home, I was a teacher. My son he was a baby. I mean, he was only like a year and a half. So it was me, my husband, and my son all home together, not being able to leave, sort of just
Mhm.
eating like whatever, because we just didn't know what to do. And it was so funny. My husband, even after
You guys don't have lobster every night for dinner?
I wish. But even like
Be
when we
broke.
went back to work, my husband was like, "Have you heard of this thing called DoorDash? Like I can get Chinese food delivered to me at home," because he was still working from home. And I was like, "That's not good." Like, and I remember thinking like, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that could ever happen for him, for me, for us." So yeah, so we both like ended up gaining, like he gained a significant amount of weight. I gained weight. And then I really, actually, I credit my husband because he really started his weight loss journey first. He was just
Mhm.
like, he couldn't do things with our son. You know, our son was 3. He wanted to run. He wanted to play with our son and just couldn't. So really started trying to take back his health. And then I wanted to support him. And so, you know, worked on the nutrition and then the running. And my husband started with biking. We had a stationary bike because I'm also a spin instructor.
Hmm.
So he started on the bike that we had. And then now with his weight loss, I mean, he's lost like 150 pounds. I mean, it's crazy how much he just looks like a completely different person. Now he's running again. So between the two of us running and all of that, yeah, it's just, so yeah, so between the two of us, we've lost like an obese person too. So, you know,
Good for you guys.
Yeah,
And you were doing it
nice.
as a family. Like that's a like strength builder
yeah.
doing it together.
And our son too, I mean, like he's 5.5 now, and he just, you know, he loves
Mhm.
running, he loves, you know, doing stuff with us, and so it's just like, you know, being good role models for him. So
Yeah, learning the healthy habits early. That's
yeah,
good. That's
for sure.
how he's gonna carry it on in life by
Right.
learning it early.
Did
Good
you
for
have
guys.
to? Did you and your husband have to juggle in like plan your runs? I'm talking because you have a son, you have kids, I have kids.
Somebody
and-
got to watch him.
Yeah, and so how did you juggle that, or was it just did you just always have your day or your time of the week or time of the day that you knew you were going to get to run?
So I'm really lucky. I live in the same town that my parents do. So when I first had my son, my dad, from like when Eli was 6 weeks old, pretty much, or well, maybe 3 months. Um, I was always a morning runner, so I would get up at 5 and go for my run. And my dad was like, "Hey, if you want to drop Eli off here so you can go to the gym, like I'll hang out with him." And so since my son has been 3 months old, every morning we get up, we go to Yaya and Mom's. He hangs out with my dad and my mom. I go for my run, I come back, and then we transition him to school or daycare or whatever it is. And I mean, now he's 5.5, and we're talking about kindergarten. My mom's like, "I'll drive him to school, no problem," you know. So it's
That's
been,
awesome.
yeah, I'm so lucky in that, and like I know I'm very lucky. And my parents remind me of it very often, but they really like the time that they get to hang out with him too. So
Yeah.
it's a gift for all of us. So that's my time, and then my husband, he works from home, so he runs on his lunch break. So
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What
Got
a
to shout
support
out to mom
system.
and dad. My mom's downstairs
yeah.
right now folding laundry for me.
See?
So
there you
shout
go.
out to mom and dads.
Seriously, they're
Yay
Yeah.
to moms and dads.
I feel like they're a lot more involved these days. I'm not saying
yes.
I'm just saying parents in general with their grandkids than they were when we were kids.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. Is that the same for you, Erica? All my extended family lived at least 3 hours away. So,
Wow.
it wasn't easy enough for my mom and dad to drop me off at grandma's.
No, mine didn't really. Mine used to live in Florida, but then my grandmother was retired up here. She was in like an elderly community, I guess, and yeah, I mean, I remember going over there, but not like to stay with her by ourselves. It would be more for like visits and stuff. But
I
I don't
feel
know.
like I feel like my grandparents, ever since I was little, like talking as early as I can remember, in my mind, they were always really old. And my parents are the same age about when my parents are kind of the same age now that I have kids, but they don't seem really old to me. So
No.
I just think that's in general, everyone's doing a little bit more. We learn a little more every day to be healthier and stay younger.
Mm.
And I don't, even though my mom might be the same age as my grandmother when I was little as my kids now, there's no comparison. Zero. And I don't know if
Agreed.
the same is for the two of you and everyone else.
It's all
listening.
about perception too. Like when you're a kid, like you could be 30 and you're like ancient.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
true.
it's kid perception. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk. Your grandparents, you mentioned to us that there are some mental health issues, whether it was yours or just in your family.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when my dad had an older brother who, really struggled with mental health his whole life. And when he was 21, he unfortunately died by suicide. And that was something that, we didn't really talk about. I didn't know about it until I was older, because I never met him. He had passed away long before I was born. But then when my grandfather was older, my dad's dad, so his nickname was Buddy. He was the nicest. Everybody loved him. He worked from like the day he was born, essentially. They had like a baker, like a family bakery, and he worked in the bakery. He actually, it's funny, he joined the army because he didn't want to take on the family business of the bakery. And so he went into the army and they made him a cook. So he was very disappointed with what they had him do. So he was in the army during Korea, came home, married my grandmother. They had a few kids. They got divorced later on in life. Like once all of their kids were older, he ended up remarrying someone and was very happy. He built this log cabin and he had this really nice life and worked until he was well into his 80s. He just, even if it was like a little part-time job, like he worked for the town and just everybody knew him. And when he retired because he couldn't work anymore, he became very depressed, and struggled with heart issues. Like he had had heart attacks. He had had a couple of heart attacks and things like that. So just really just became depressed and just really lost the will to live. And we watched him sort of, die from illness, but also just from depression, and it was really hard for my dad. My dad and my grandfather were like best friends. And so to watch my dad go through that and to be very sad because he loved his dad and the person that his dad was no longer, was very sad. So, and at that point in my running, I was still into running, but I wasn't as into running. And my grandfather had been a runner. That was one of the few, I wasn't very close with him, but that was one of the few things that we could talk about. And he like loved to talk to me about. So when he actually passed away, I was training to do like my first half marathon that I'd done in like 2 years. And he passed away like a week before. And it was on Staten Island in New York, the half marathon was. And so I had to go from like his funeral on like a Friday, drive to New York with my mom on Saturday, and then run on Sunday. And it was just so emotional. And like throughout like that week, like I was really questioning, I'm like, should I go? Like am I even going to be in shape to do that after all of this like stuff and watching my dad like grieve his father. And the morning I was driving to my parents' house from where I was living at the time. And I was driving and I was like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to tell my mom, like, we're not going, like, we're not going to do it. And as I was driving, this rainbow went across the road. And I was like, all right, that's a sign. Like, I can't not go. So we went and, my mom and I had a lot of fun. My mom's hysterical. My mom has never run a day in her life, never will run, but she calls herself my non-running running coach. She always has great advice and everything and is a big supporter. So We went down, we had a great time, and I ran and I ended up running a PR for my half marathon at the time, and just like really felt like he was with me. And after that, I was like, okay. And I got the bug back, and I signed up for a marathon after that. And I definitely think like he was with me for my first marathon. Like I have no doubt about it. And just, yeah. So like when I run now, like I feel very close to him. And also like for me, like running is such an important piece of like my mental health and like being able to do my job. Like I work, I'm a special education teacher, but I work in a behavior program in a social emotional learning classroom. And my kids, they're not the easiest kids to work with. I love them. Like every day I'm like, I go in and like, it's always fun. You never know what you're going to walk into. But they're not, you know, they're not the easiest kids to deal with all the time. So for me, like making sure that I'm in a good place mentally so I can support them and their needs is really important. And so like we talk about, what do you do for self-care? We talk about with the kids, we talk about with the other people that work with the kids, and they know that like for me it's running and they watch me run. And my favorite thing about it is like every time I tell them I'm going to run a marathon or a race, it's always like, well, are you going to win it? Like when I was training for Boston, like one of my kids had, they have no concept. They're like, are you going to win the Boston Marathon? And I'm like, no. And they're like, then why do it? And I'm like, because I'm proud, like, because if I finish, like, I'm going to be proud of myself. And like, that's enough for me, and I know that like I'm working hard to accomplish a goal. And even if it's not perfect, I've done what I set out to do. And that's like sort of the story I give to them. And, so they're always like, want to hear about it. And they're always like super proud, which is always really nice when you get to come back and the kids are like, wow, great job, Miss Neuts, so.
Miss Neuts.
That's such a wonderful thing to teach the kids. Like it's teaching them to do what they need to take care of themselves, and that even if you're not going to win something, you should try. And just how do I even want to say this? Like I'm just so impressed.
Yeah, you show running to show them that they don't need to win to accomplish something,
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the work you put into it. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's like you always see those people who talk about
Good values.
You see those memes and stuff or those TikToks when it's like you ran a marathon and then your friend, your non-running friend's like, did you win? No, but yes, I won. But no, I didn't win. But I won. I accomplished something amazing. Good, Beth. Amazing. Love that you do that and that you work with those kids. So you talked about one of your races. Let's get into some of your running stories and your race stories. And let's start with Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, you teased us a little bit on some of them. Yes, this one.
Okay. So, so my son, I was due with my son. His birthday is January 7th, but so I was about 30 something weeks pregnant at that point. And, Thanksgiving Day, it's a 4-miler. It's like one of my favorite races. I run it every year. My mom was there and she was like, I don't think you should run. It's cold. Like, and that's what parents do, right? Like that's their job. I'm like, Mom, I'm running it. Like the weather's fine. It's going to be great. I'm ready. And, so she's like, okay. She goes, well, and it's kind of like a looped course. So she's like, well, if after the first loop, like you don't want to run anymore, she goes, we'll just go home and like you can just come off the course and nobody has to know you didn't finish. I'm like, okay, Mom.
I think your mom was worried about herself being cold.
She didn't want to be out there, huh?
She did not. Any race where there was even like a hint of any, like whether it was too hot, too cold, like she was like, you're not doing it because you're pregnant. You have to think of the baby. And I'm like, I'm fine. And my doctor, like my doctor was phenomenal. He's a runner. And so he was like, you're fine. Like, don't even worry about it. The beach to Beacon that year, it was supposed to be like super humid. And he was like, I'm going to be at that race. So like, if you're there, like, don't even worry about it. Cause I'll be there anyways.
We'll deliver the baby right there on the road.
I didn't end up running that race. And I think that's the race where he actually ended up having to go to the hospital because he like overheated. So
Your
I was
doctor?
glad
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't run that race. But yeah, so that's another story. I'll save that for him. But so anyways, so Thanksgiving, I go out, I start the race and I'm like, I'm running and I'm like, I gotta pee. I'm like, I'll hold it. Like, it'll be fine. And, So I start running and I run the first loop and I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. What am I going to do? Where do I stop? I don't even know. And it's through the old port. So I was like, okay. I'm like, there's a Starbucks. Places are going to be open. So I was like, all right.
Hmm.
So on the second loop, I'm like, I'm stopping at Starbucks. Like there's no stopping this train at this point. So I run in and I was wearing a shirt that was like running for two. So like, people knew I was
Oh
pregnant.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I run in and I'm like, I need to use the bathroom. Like, where is it? And they're like, it's around the corner. There's a code. So they're like screaming the code to me. And I'm like, thank you. So I'm like typing in the code. I run in and I, pee. And then I come running out and I'm like, I'm not buying anything. They're like, you're fine. You're pregnant. Just go. I'm like, okay.
Not buying
I took
anything.
off and my shoe at that point had come untied. I had to like tie my shoe. Somebody offered to tie the shoe for me, which I thought was very nice. And I was like, I'm okay. Like, I can tie my own shoe. But thank you for offering. But yeah, so like that was probably one of my favorite stories, just being pregnant and being like, I need to pee, like, because it comes on quick because they just
Yeah.
You
move.
always have to pee when you're pregnant, right?
Oh, I'll never forget.
Always.
I was in class one day when I was pregnant, and one of my students had done something, and I was trying to talk to them, and they were like sitting on a beanbag in front of me, and I'm like, you got to go to class, you got to follow directions, you got to get back in there. And as I'm having this conversation with my student, I don't know what he did, but he like shifted, and all of a sudden I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I just like ran out of the room, and the kid was like, is Miss Newts okay? Like, what just happened? And they were like, she's fine, everything's fine.
Panic.
Yeah. Luckily, there's like a bathroom like right around the corner from my room, so I didn't have to go far. But yeah, you never know when it's gonna happen.
You mentioned walking into Starbucks and walking out and saying, I'm not using the bathroom. I got to say, I probably do that a lot where I'm like, I gotta go, and I pull over to a mobile or a McDonald's and I walk in and I try not to do eye contact. I'm just like, go right to the bathroom, and then I walk right out. I like the McDonald's because the bathrooms are usually off to the side and you can walk in the side door.
No
and
shame.
No one ever knows you go in there, and I'm like, yes, clutch.
You're too funny.
That was great though. So, do you have any other fun running stories before we get into Boston?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So another thing that happened when I was pregnant was
All pregnancy stories. I love it.
yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah. So when I was pregnant, I had run a half marathon for Maine Children's Cancer like a few years prior. So they shot out an email and they were like, someone pulled out of running one of the legs for the relay. If anybody's interested, like, please reach out to us. So I shot them an email and I was like, I would love to. I'm pregnant, so I'm going to be slow. If you guys don't mind, I'll happily do it. And they were like, it was like 3 other women, and they were like, oh my God, yes. So they were so excited. They wanted to support me in it, and they were like, we'll give you the shortest leg. It's the last one. And I was like, okay. Yeah, so they did great because the way that the Maine marathon is set up, like the legs aren't even. So like there's 3 that are about the same length, and then there's one that's like 10 miles long. So they were like, we won't make you do that. I was like, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. So the leg I ran was about 6. But yeah, and it was just a wonderful experience. Everybody's so supportive, and like the team that I was on, like I didn't really know them, but they were like, when are you due? Like, how's running been going while you're pregnant? I can't believe you're running while you're pregnant. And once again, my mom was very nervous that day when I was running. Like, she was like there with me, and she was like, okay, like if you need to like, quit or whatever, just call me. I'm like, I'm not going to quit. If I need to walk, I'll walk. But I ended up running, and it was a great experience. And the last I've run a half Maine half, and I ran a Maine full, and both of those, since my son's been born, he's crossed the finish line with me. So he's crossed the Maine marathon finish line 3 times already, without even running the race. So someday he'll get
That's
there.
cool
I wonder
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a precursor for later on in life. He's just going to keep going with the running and cross his own finish lines, well, on his own. Yeah.
He's a big fan of running, so I'm sure there will be
Good.
many finish lines in his future. So
That's so cute. I love it.
Do you get him involved in programs like Kids Run or something? There's one here in the Nashua, Manchester area. I think it's Kids Run for Health or something along those lines. My daughter does it.
yeah, I wish they had something like that around us. This summer, actually, the town that we live in does like a summer like outdoor track program for kids K through 12. So we're going to do that. So they have like the shorter distances and then the other like track and field events that he can try for his age. So we'll see how that goes this summer. I think he'll be excited because he loves to run. So
That's so cool.
yeah,
I love going to my daughter's races. They're only like 100 yards, but they do
Right.
like a whole warm up, jumping jacks. The kids do the stretching. It's really kind of fun and cool. Now they do 400 yards actually, or meters, whatever it is. But
right.
Okay.
That's awesome.
The kids are better at warming up and stretching and stuff than I am.
It's true. Same.
they also stretch after Erika, unlike we.
I know.
like-
I know. See, that's what you got to do. Teach them good habits early. I didn't get that apparently.
Same.
So I am terrible at it. But all right, Beth, let's jump right into Boston. You had already said that you've run it twice. And from what we gather, you had two totally different experiences with it. So let's start with your first Boston.
Oh my gosh. So that was last year and I got in through a Maine track club bib. I'm a member of Maine track club. They had a couple bibs to give away and they were like, they called me up and they said, "Do you want it?" I was like, "Yes, absolutely." And I was in a good place at that point. And that's sort of when I started my running streak. I was like, all right, this is how I'm going to do
Okay.
this. I'm going to do a year and, but yeah, my training for that just went really well. I was hitting a lot of PRs. Everything was going great. And I went into Boston being like, okay, like I know that I can beat my slowest marathon time, and I think I can beat my fastest marathon time by some time.
Mhm.
And so I just went out there and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun though. Like Boston is an experience that I'm probably never gonna have again. I'm not a fast runner, so I was like, I just want to enjoy it. And so I went out and I experienced all those things and I cried. I cried more in that race than I think I've ever cried in a race because everything that everybody says is true. All those things, the Wellesley Scream Tunnel, Heartbreak Hill, like everybody is there. They're cheering for you. It's amazing, phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about it. And got to the finish line and realized that I had a PR of like 45 minutes
Oh my gosh,
that I
congratulations.
shaved off of my marathon time, which was phenomenal for me.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was so excited, and I crossed the finish line. My parents were there. My two nieces were there with them. My son was home because he's little, so I was like, I'm not going to have you come to
Mhm.
Boston for this. And my mom was there, and I was like crying because I was like really proud of myself, and she's like, how'd it go? Like, and I was just like, it was really hard, and I did really good, and she like hugged me, and it was really nice, and to have my nieces there was really special because I've been close with them their whole life. Like, we lived together for a long time and they're the best. So it was really fun. And then I ended up this year doing it for Team Honda. We raised money for Dana-Farber, which was really special for me because I actually had a teacher in high school that ran the Boston Marathon for 3 years for Dana-Farber. So I had like supported him through that. And we've been friends since I was in high school. So he's like now become a friend. So just raising money for the same program, and some other people that I know raise money for Dana-Farber, so that was really cool. And just training this time around like wasn't great. Like my son and I got COVID during this time. We had like a month-long cold that just like wouldn't go away. And then like in general, like as a teacher, like some years are just harder than others. And this year, teaching wise, it's been very challenging. So that sort of makes training difficult as well. So I went into Boston not feeling 100%, but I was like, I'm just going to do what I can. Like I've trained, I'm ready. I've done, I did the Eastern State 20 miler. Like I was like, I know I can do it. It's going to be what it's going to be. And started and was strong through like the half, like was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, like I was nauseous. Like I thought I was going to throw up. Like I was just like,
Oh no.
it was awful. And I had friends and family at different points. So like I had seen my cousin at 6 miles. I had seen another friend at mile like 14. And then my husband, his aunt, and our niece and nephew were at mile 19. And so when I saw them at 19, his aunt was like, "How are you doing?" And I said, I'm not doing good." And she was like, "The car's right there. Do you want me to give you a ride?" And I was like, "No. I gotta finish, you know?" And she was just like,
Mhm.
"Okay." She goes, "Well, if you change your mind, like just call me." And I was like, "Okay." And I was walking. They had sort of gone off to get in the car, and then I was walking, and I called my parents. I called my mom, and I was crying, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I just want you to know, like, I'm not doing well. I want to finish, but like it's going to take me a while." And my mom was like, "Whatever you need to do, like just do what you need to do, and just if you
Mhm.
want to quit, quit, but if you want to stay on the course, finish." And I was like, "Okay." And it was funny because I was listening to when you were talking to Tara about this, like they're breaking down the course as we're doing it, and I was just like, "Oh man!" But I was like, "I'm gonna keep going." And the last mile, I was like, because I knew, like the year before, I didn't know like where that is, the turns, and you're
Mhm.
there, and so I was like, when I saw like the dip, and then I was at the turns, I was like, "I'm gonna run, and if I end up puking, I'm at the finish anyways." So I ran at that point and felt okay and got to my parents, and I didn't know that they had brought my youngest niece. So
Hmm.
I saw them, and I just was like, I just started sobbing, and I was just like, "Oh my God, like you're here." And they were like, "Yeah, like I wouldn't miss it." And I was just like, "I'm sorry that you've had to wait so long." And they were like, "It's not even a big deal. Like you did a great job." So, yeah, so it was definitely like, and I had a like for a while I was just like, "Man, that sucked. Like I could have done better." But now it's just like it is what it is. Some days are yours, and some days, you got to grit and stick with it. And so
Yep.
that's what I did.
Yeah, that's just a part of running. You get the
Yeah.
good days and you get the bad days, but
But
hopefully
you did it.
hopefully it all comes together. And
Yeah.
that is just not how you want your Boston to go, though. That's
No.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I wish we were tracking you or knew you at the
I
time
wish
because
too. Yeah.
we
I
were at
saw
mile
you guys.
19.
I saw you guys, and I didn't say anything. I was too
Oh,
like,
bad.
You
You
I
didn't
know.
should
say
have.
anything?
I did. I saw you, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep walking because I'm just like not
What?
in a good place right now.
Oh,
So I
Oh,
totally saw
well,
I
I
you.
was gonna be like,
understand,
we
but
would have been what powered you through. We would have been like, you got it, Beth.
I
And
was
then you'd have
very
been like,
excited to
okay,
see you.
7 more miles.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very excited to see you. So I was just like, oh wow, like this is exciting. But yeah, at that point, I was just like, I gotta keep going. But yeah, you guys were
Oh,
doing
I
great out there.
understand.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm bummed. I'm bummed. Next time, say hi.
We
Promise me
had
next
the
time.
easy job.
No matter your mood, say hi next
I
time.
I promise I
We
will say hi
we
next
we
time.
won't make you step in a big puddle though, like Lindsay did.
Yeah.
that
Those
was
Yeah,
that was not fun for her.
it was
I thought
shenanigans out there.
our spot was great. It was epic. Erika
Yeah.
got a great spot, but there was it for the rainy weather.
Hmm.
It was just the way the road was right there. Big puddle, big
Oh,
ass puddle.
Mhm.
it was they were everywhere, but yeah, it was at that point too. It was the crowds were thinning out, like the runners were thinning out, but there were so many people like around me. There was like another guy who he was struggling. I felt so bad for him because he had he really wanted to run and he just couldn't. Like his body just wasn't letting him. And I
Mm.
was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just have to walk." I'm like, "I understand. I'm walking too." And so we finished. So, but it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
So Beth, if we're talking favorite races,
Oh,
what's your favorite race distance that you like to do?
man.
And do you have a favorite race? Is that your beach to beacon, or I forget what the other one was you mentioned?
I love, well, LL Bean is like it's a 10K too. Those two,
Mm-hmm.
I love, I guess I'm going to say, I've always said I hated the 10K distance, but my grandfather, it's so funny, my grandfather loved the 10K. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can't stand it. But now, like, the older I get, the more I appreciate that distance, because it's 5K is like fairly quick, 10K is a little longer.
Yeah.
And yeah, my two favorite races are LL Bean and Beach to Beacon, just because I have so many like memories of that. And yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go with the 10K. I think that is my favorite right now. So
I'm bummed I haven't raced that many 10Ks. I think I've out of all the races I've done, I've only done maybe like 2 official 10Ks.
Oh.
Like I've done a bunch of like the 5Ks, and then they're all like weird distances after that. So
Right.
yeah, my favorite one is my it's called the Goffstown Gallop, and that one's coming up soon and at the end of June.
What's
But
the
my
distance
hometown
on
race.
that?
5.2.
Okay.
I don't even know what that translates to Ks. It's like an 8 point something K.
Something, yeah.
Like it's just so random. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, my other favorite is a 5-miler that they have in Maine. It's the Clam Festival 5-miler. That's my other favorite. So like I feel like that distance, the 5 to 6 mile, like I feel pretty good.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Does it end with like a nice, like you get a seafood fest and get to hang out and party after?
Well, the Clam
Maine does it right.
I know the Clam Festival one is exciting because after, I think it's the same day as the race, they have a clam
Mhm.
shucking contest that
That's a
local
thing.
that local celebrities do.
So who are local celebrities in Maine? Like I'm
Like-
just curious. Like who's really good at this clam shucking?
It's the news anchors are like the local celebrities, and there's
Oh.
this one news anchor. His name is Lee Goldberg, and I feel like he wins every year. But also the other thing about Lee Goldberg that everybody loves is he has like 8 children. And he's just
Oh.
like the nicest guy, and he's just got like this giant group of children that he just like, that follow him around, and it's just he's hysterical. So, but he's usually
Don't you
the clam shucking master.
don't you have to like I don't eat clams, so I don't personally know, but don't you have to open them with like a knife or
Yes.
like something real sharp? I would lose a finger. Just that is not what I would want to do.
I don't shuck clams. I don't know how to shuck a clam. I just know that they taste yummy. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
I
too
wait until
funny.
they're cooked and they just open on their own. But
When does that fall? That the race?
it's in July because it's during the clam festival in Yarmouth. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. it's super fun.
All right. So famous celebrities from Maine. You ready?
Oh, you're looking at
Big one. Grey's Anatomy. Patrick Dempsey.
Of course.
really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I
He
love
does.
these.
He does the Dempsey Challenge. It's like a big bike race, and there's a race, like a
Ooh.
road race as well, to raise money for the Dempsey Center, which is for cancer research in Maine.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I'll
All
come
right.
up for a Patrick Dempsey sighting.
Now, here's one. Maybe shame on me for not knowing this, but LL Bean is a person?
Oh yeah, he made the boot.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
it,
Oh no.
it has
His
here
name-
LL Bean. I'm like,
Yeah.
LL Bean's a person?
Do you know what his name
right.
is? It's Leon.
LL.
Well, it's Leonwood Bean.
Oh, I learned something new today.
That's what you gotta know.
My dad loves LL Bean, and when he knows you're from the town of LL Bean, he's gonna be like, "My dad, he just retired, and he did get a job at LL Bean for like the holiday season.
Yes.
It wasn't retail, wasn't for him, so he didn't stick with it after. But I think he spent more money there on his discount than what he actually made, and he got a ton of. And we get everything we get for the Christmas and the holidays is LL Bean, which LL Bean is awesome, or
Mhm.
Arctic, and Arctic is RTIC. It's like Yeti, like the
Yep.
Yeti brand, but the Arctic brand. Anyways, another celebrity from Maine is Ann Kendrick.
Anna. Oh,
Yes.
oh, I knew that. Oh, we
Yep.
did know that
Anna.
one. I love her. Oh, I love her so much.
And then for those NASCAR fans, they know that Ricky Craven is from Maine.
Oh, there you go.
And another one, okay, I didn't know this. I don't believe this, but it says Bodie Miller is from Maine.
Yes.
I thought he, was
is?
like
He's
the
from
New Hampshire
Franconia.
guy.
Yeah.
Did he-
No,
Yeah, maybe he moved.
he my
Okay,
math
he was-
teacher was obsessed with him when I was in high school and like knew him. So I don't know. He must have been from around where I'm from because she was like friends with him.
Says here he was born in Easton, New Hampshire. Like, okay, I'm from New Hampshire, but I was born in Boston. So sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm kind of from Boston, but I'm also from New Hampshire.
Did he go to like
if
a
I was
skiing school though? Did he go to Gould? Did he go to Gould Academy for like skiing? Because that's like one of those skiing places.
This is outside of my trivia range.
I don't know.
It does not say, but I do know he went to the Lucky Dog when I worked there, and I had to toss him out once.
Nice.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
I Interesting.
It was in his younger days. It was his younger days. He was okay. He was all right. So he's a good guy now, but it was his younger days. We'll just say that. So who else we got here? Oh, of course. All right. Here's one. George Bush. Really?
Kennebunk. They lived in
Yeah.
Kennebunk, right?
But
Kennebunk.
I knew he had a
Yeah.
place in Maine.
Yeah.
No, I know he has a place in Maine, but I really thought he was from Texas. Oh, this is the original George Bush. I say this is HW.
Yeah.
The original George Bush.
OG.
Sorry.
OG.
President Bush spent his summers in Kennebunkport, Maine for many years, but he was born in Milton, Massachusetts. I did not know that.
He was born in Massachusetts. I didn't know that he was born in Massachusetts.
Why would you know this? Like, I don't know. This
well,
is not common knowledge.
my point
is,
is, I thought they were from Texas, but the other George Bush was the governor of Texas, and he lives in Texas, I think. I don't even know. Don't quote me on that. It's like Erika saying, I'm not a doctor, don't take my medical advice.
Yeah.
Don't take my...
I'm still not a doctor. Don't take.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But don't
Anyways.
forget to stretch.
There you go. That's important.
That's
Yeah.
the important part.
Stretching is
Can't mess that up. Mhm.
There's a lot of people here on this list that I don't know, but I want one. Stephen King.
well, yeah, you gotta have Stephen King.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can leave it at that. We got like Anna Kendrick,
Yeah.
Patrick Dempsey, Stephen King.
King.
Boom.
What is your favorite place to visit in Maine?
Oh, my favorite place to visit. Oh man.
Well, you vacation in New Hampshire, you
I
said,
do
though.
vacation in New Hampshire because that's like our favorite place to go.
Where do you go in New Hampshire? Do you like camp or like
No,
what is there
well,
to
my
I live
parents-
here and I'm like, what do you do here? I don't even know.
We go to the mountains and my
Oh,
parents have a
yes, yes, yes.
timeshare and we go up there during the summer and yeah. And it's just fun. Like my son loves it. Like it's like his favorite place to be is in the mountains of New Hampshire. Like he's like a little
Yeah. I don't get to go there much, but I love Baxter State Park, and I love going up on
Oh.
the Kennebec and
Yep.
not the Kennebec and the Penobscot River rafting. Used to do that a ton before kids, and I can't wait till my kids are old enough to take them rafting. I can't. It's going to be a blast. And then I did as many people who listen know, I went to Sugarloaf. We're supposed to go for like 3
Yep.
days. I got to ski one day and had to run home. The whole house was sick. No, Maine's great. I love Maine. I love the mountains of New Hampshire too. Erika, you don't get up to the mountains. You're on the border. So
Doesn't mean I don't like them, but it's just it's a trek to get up there. I mean, I should carpool with Danielle one of the days she's going up. She goes up like 4 times a week, I swear.
Yeah.
One of our
So-
friends.
So let's get in. We talking New Hampshire mountains here. I think you're gonna run up one.
Yes. I am in a few weeks.
This
Mount
is a bucket
Washington.
list event for me.
Yeah. I was supposed to do it the year that it got canceled for COVID, and didn't get to do it the year after. But yeah, I got in this year through the lottery. I'm super excited. I've never done it. The closest thing I've done was a few years ago. I ran up the Loon Mountain. I did the Loon Mountain
Oh,
race.
It's like a Tough Mudder type thing, right?
Sean has
Yeah.
done that. You just like zigzag your way up the mountain, right?
It's crazy. I didn't even finish because I was just like, I made it to like the last, like the upper walking boss, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm good. Like I can go home now. So I just quit with the last mile. My mom was like, "Are you sure you don't want to?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. Climbing up ski slopes for the day has been enough."
So have you been to Mount Washington before? Have you driven up the auto road? Do you know what you're getting into?
I have not driven up the auto road. I've been to Mount Washington. I rode up the cog Railway, which was super fun, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is intense." I prefer like things like this to sort of not know what I'm getting into, and just sort of like I've been training. I've been doing inclines and hills and things like that. So I'm just gonna go, and whatever happens, happens, and it's gonna be a party. So
I like your attitude. That's good.
I want to give you one little tip on the auto road, okay?
okay,
Because I hike the auto road every year. They let us hike it. Like I said, I do the adaptive hike out Mount Washington, and they let us use the auto road, and we pull adaptive athletes up. It's this
Mhm.
great cause. We raise money for adaptive sports to help pay for the equipment that they'll use, whether they want to go biking, kayaking, running, similar to a running wheelchair that Dick and Rick Hoyt you would see, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
So the very beginning of the auto road, when you start, once you hit that first hill, I feel like that very first hill incline you're going to get,
Mhm.
it's intense. It's steep and intense, but it gets better. So don't go all out on that first one, right? Because once you get over that one, it gets better for quite a while. So that's the only preview I'm going to give you of the course. The rest of it, I hope you get a great day. It's beautiful. Enjoy, as I tell some people running, chin up and enjoy it. If you're just wanting to enjoy the experience, chin up and watch where you're going. Don't stare at the ground the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. It's just something new. I did Loon Mountain kind of. But yeah, just something different than what I've done before. So I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.
That's a Dave McGilvery race.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to mention that. I'm like, say hi to Dave for us if you see him.
No, go do this. Go, hi Dave, my name is Beth, and he'll go, hi Beth, and then go, Dave, do you know what we have in common? We have both been guests on the On the Runs podcast, and he'll think that's cool.
I agree. I'm definitely going to do it if I see him. Totally going to do it.
Yes. Oh, I hope. What's the dates of those? I wonder if I could get up there for it.
It's
June something.
June 17th, I think. Yeah, June 17th, I think is the race. Yeah.
Is that Father's Day weekend?
Yes.
It is. I can't make it this year, but it is a bucket list race for me. I think next year it's a lottery, right?
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
Can't we do like a joint, well, not a joint lottery, like if you get in, I get in kind of thing?
You can do as like a team. And somebody was telling me that like you're more likely to get in if you do it that way.
All right. On the Runs team.
There you go.
That's the only way I'm doing it is if you're doing it, because that sounds miserable to me.
Oh, no.
I'm sure it's awesome, but I'd be like, the whole time.
What else you got on the dock this year?
Well, my next one, I'm running the Old Port Half Marathon, which is like the weekend before, which is, I've run the Old Port Half Marathon before, but they've moved the weekends because it used to be in July, which was absolutely miserable and hot, and the beauty of the Old Port,
I imagine, right?
Busy, and but the beauty of the Old Port Half Marathon is like there's like this epic beer garden because the Old Port is very famous for all of their bars and restaurants and that. And so a lot of times what happens when it's too hot is people come and they start drinking beers and then they end up like passing out and like fainting because like they're dehydrated. So that's not good. And nobody wants that in the middle of the Old Port. So I think they've realized move it a little earlier so it's not too hot and people don't do that. So my cousin,
beer is nice to have after a race sometimes, but I would just cool it a little bit.
No, yeah. Well, they give you at least two free ones. That's what it
two. Oh God, that sounds
a lot after a race. But my cousins own two bars in the Old Port, so it's always an adventure to go down there and go to their bars as well. So you run right by them.
What bars do they own? If we're ever in the area, we got to go stop by.
They own Navarre Res. And they own Liquid Riot.
Okay, I'm going to Liquid Riot. That's the one I'm going to.
They make
sold.
That sounds like a party.
Liquid Riot, they make their own beer and they also make their own liquor. And one of my cousins is the master distiller for the liquor, so it's
that's cool.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Is there a bar up there still, like something lizard? They had like a iguana, the blue iguana.
Oh my God.
Is there a story here?
Yes.
I've been there once.
I
may or may not have danced on the bar.
Yes.
This is for
Whoa, seriously, Erika?
This was for my friend, Jess Royer.
Yeah.
It was her 21st birthday, and I had turned 21 1 week before that. So we went with a bunch of her friends to Old Port, and we went to a bunch of bars, but that one was the most memorable. I still have pictures of me drinking this like giant fishbowl looking thing, and like
yes. You are speaking all the truths right now about that bar.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Breaking
Can't
news,
believe I pulled
Erika
that
is
out.
auditioning for Coyote Ugly.
Oh, that was 16 years ago at this point-ish. My days of Coyote Ugly are well behind me.
I also went to that bar.
I never knew this about you, Erika. Never.
And that's like one of the things is like you dance on the bar. It's like it was like a thing there. It doesn't exist anymore because fun fact, when I went, I had a fake ID and I could get in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually hysterical. So it was my cousin's bachelorette party, and so they were all like 30 and I was 19. And so they just sort of put me in the middle, sort of hoping that they wouldn't card me, which obviously they did, but some places let me in, some
Yeah.
places. But I got into the iguana, and yes, dancing on the bar, the giant fish bowls. That place was memorable for sure. Good time.
Yes.
This
That's
has
too
been
fun.
this has been a lot of fun. But before we get to our final two questions, you have quite the birth story we need to hear.
Yeah. So okay.
I've
So
been there too. I've been through this. So
it's shenanigans. It is the craziest like thing. It's amazing what the human body can do. Yeah. So when I was pregnant with my son, um, I had the I loved being pregnant. It was the easiest pregnancy. Everything was awesome. Um, and so until the end, like I started like sort of having like symptoms of preeclampsia. So they were like, "We're taking you in. You're getting induced."
Mm.
So I went in and they started the induction, which took forever because he just was like, I'm cool in here. We don't need to. I don't need to come out." Um, and so I was there. Like I got admitted on like a Friday night, and I was there all of Saturday, all of Sunday, early Sunday morning. Like they gave me pitocin, which really just like you go into labor pretty much instantaneously. Um,
Mm.
and it's not comfortable. It's not fun. And so I had asked for an epidural because I was like, I'm not going to make it out of this if I don't have something for this pain. So I had the epidural, and but also when you have the epidural, it like slows your pregnancy because your body's not, you know, it doesn't know when to push. It's not feeling those contractions and things like that. So
Oh.
was in labor like all day, like just kind of hanging out, waiting. Finally, after like 12 hours, they were like, either you're going to like have your son naturally, or we're going to have to send you in for a C-section because you've been in labor for too long. But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, I had some really wonderful nurses who like had me like go on my side and have like a peanut ball between my legs. And luckily, he decided that he wanted to come out at that point, so I could start pushing. And I only had to push for like 20 minutes, but once I started pushing, my doctor, the guy who is a runner and was like, "Oh, you're fine, everything's fine." He was like,
the one who passed out.
yeah, the one who passed out. He was like he's like kind of a a good local doctor. So like all of the medical students that work for him, like one of them was like sort of like in charge of like the birth, but he was there like overseeing.
Mm.
And while I was pushing, it was like the funniest thing ever because he was just like sitting there and he just looked bored. Like he had his hand like this. It's like 11:40 at night. He's exhausted. Everyone's exhausted. He's just like sitting there like this. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like everything must be going great because I mean, he's not even worried. And then all of a sudden, he just like jumped up and like went into action. He pulled my son out, and what I didn't know at the time was my son had the cord around his neck twice and wasn't breathing. He was like
Oh
purple.
my God.
And still like they did that. They put him on my chest and he was purple, and the nurse was going, breathe, breathe. And I thought she was talking to me. So I'm going, and then all of a sudden my son cried, and everybody was like, oh, okay. So at that point too, all the Barbara Bush doctors had come in too and were in there like working on him to make sure he was okay, which he was totally fine. But
Mhm.
certainly a very jarring experience for everyone involved. And my
So
mom,
scary.
yeah, my mom and my husband were both in there and knew what had happened, but I didn't see it, so I didn't know
Mhm.
until later. But so after that, and they get him all cleaned up, and then they're doing everything, and everybody sort of leaves. It's like me and my husband, our brand new baby, and the nurse, and they were like, okay, we're going to take your epidural out now. And I was like, okay. So they had me sit up, they pull the thing out. And the thing about an epidural is like it basically makes your body feel numb. So like you can't, like once you have an epidural, you can't move, you can't eat, you can't do anything because you can't feel your
Mhm.
legs. So the minute they took the epidural out, they were saying to me, they're like, you're going to start feeling sensation in your legs again and, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, great. So then I'm like sitting there and I'm like, can I like stand up? And the nurse was like, no. And I'm like, well, why? And she goes, your legs, like you're not going to be able to stand up. She goes, you might think that you can stand up. She goes, but you're not going to be able to stand up. And
Oh
I'm
no.
like, okay. So I'm like sitting there and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and like Matt's over like changing our son's first diaper and the nurse is filming it with my phone. And I'm like sitting on the bed and I'm like, I'm just going to try it, like see if I can stand up. And I'm like, so I stood up, right? And I felt great. Like, oh my God. I was ready. Like I was walking around the room and the nurse turned and saw me and she's like, sit down. Like she like yelled at me, right? And I'm just like, what? And she's like, you need to sit down. Like you can't do that. And I'm like, but I feel fine. And she's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, okay. So I sat back down and then she was like, well, so she took me into the bathroom. She's like helping me get cleaned up and stuff. And I'm standing and she's helping me. And she's like, she goes, you feel fine? I'm like, I feel great. She goes, really? I said, I was like, I feel awesome. And she was just like, this is so weird. She literally was like, this is so weird. She goes, I've never seen anything like this. She goes, you're very
Wow.
strong. And I was like, oh, thank you. But I remember too, she was like, when we leave this room, because she was like, don't tell anybody I'm letting you like walk around. And I'm like, okay. And then she goes, when we leave this room to like take you up to your like birthing, like your room in the hospital, she goes, you need to take the wheelchair. She goes, you cannot walk. And I was like, okay. Because I was like, can I like carry him? Can we walk? And she's like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was just so funny. And like she was telling everybody. So like by the time we got up to like the floor where we were going to be, like all the nurses were coming in and being like, you're not in pain. Like you're walking around. Like stand up. Show me that you're walking around. And I'm just like walking around. I'm like, do you want me to do a jumping jack? And they're like, no, no, no. And like, but I felt totally fine. And then like the next day, even like, all the nurses are coming in and they're offering me Tylenol and they're offering me all these things. And I kept saying, no, no,
I
no.
don't need it.
I know. And I looked at Matt at one point because I was getting like really irritated because like I was like, why do they keep offering me like pain medicine? And he looks at me and he goes, because you just had a baby. And I was like, oh yeah, I did. But like I
That's
felt
kind of a big
great.
deal.
And I really like I 100% believe that like the reason that like I could do all those things and I felt great was because of running. I mean, I ran through my whole pregnancy, and I think without that, like, I don't think I would have been in such a good place when, I had him. But yeah, it's crazy. The body can do amazing things.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You defied all the odds. You like surprised all the
Oh
nurses.
yeah, they were like, that lady she was like mortified. She's like, sit down. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing. I just want to walk around. I haven't walked for like 12 hours, But yeah.
She probably yelled at you because she would have gotten yelled at if anybody else caught you.
Oh,
She'd been,
she was so stressed out. She's like, I can't believe you're walking. Like, I can't believe you want to walk. I'm like, I feel great. I feel awesome.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Good for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The nurses probably kept offering you the Tylenol because they probably make like $500 per pill.
That's the thing. It was crazy when they were showing like the breakdown. Oh, it was, and like
Right.
I got discharged before my son because he had like this infection count. So like he was still in, but like so like he had to have the room, and the amount of like all the breakdowns of everything, like thank God for like good insurance. You know what I mean? Because like I was like, wow, like I can't even imagine like how much we would have had to pay out of pocket. But because I'm a teacher, we have this wonderful insurance. I was like, but yeah, it's crazy how much they charge.
My boys, twins, were in the NICU for 50 days, and each visit the doctor made was this insane amount of money. It was well over $1,000. I want to say it was actually in the $3,000 range.
Yep.
And that might have been per baby, or that might have been total for both. But just
God.
Our hospital bill was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. But yes, insurance helped in that case. Yep. And we had many other bills from before and after for just those boys.
God.
My daughter was the breeze. She was smooth and easy. Ashley ran and biked and did everything up until the day she gave birth. And she was walking around the next day and everything was smooth. The boys, an adventure. It was an adventure and it still is today.
I can't
in a different way because they're wild.
Yeah, I can't even imagine having twins. Like one of him is 100% enough.
You know what? I think it's a kind of a blessing because they're each other's best friend
That's true.
and they play with each other and hang out. And not that I don't want to play, I love to do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're like, I just want to lie down and they're going to entertain each other. It's fantastic.
There you go.
That's true.
It's the best. So that was great. So speaking of kids, my daughter is right over there. She is, that's why I muted for quite a while. I can't wait to hear what the two of you were talking about for a solid 5 minutes when I wasn't listening or talking. I just muted the mic and making sure she brushed her teeth and everything. She has my phone. So my last question is an Instagram photo. So the only thing is, the good thing is I remember what the photo is and I can just describe it to you.
Right
So
on.
you know the drill. I go creeping. And some of your photos I went creeping were over 400, 500 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
But the one I remember
Deep
that,
dive.
the one I remember that I'm going to use was Curious George wearing a pair of running sneakers on the treadmill.
Yes.
Tell me the
That-
story behind that
Oh my
photo.
gosh. So that Curious George is one of my son's stuffies. It's not his favorite or anything, but he had gone to summer camp for the morning and was like, he was super upset. He's like, "Can't I just stay with you? Like, I just want to hang out with you." And I was just like, "Oh man, like, I gotta go like for a run." And he had Curious George with him. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Buddy, I'll bring Curious George with me on my run today at the gym." And he was just like, "What?" And he like thought it was the funniest thing. So I had like a whole like photo shoot with Curious George at the gym that I work at. So I had him on the treadmill with my sneakers. I had him on like the little like elliptical. I had him on the recumbent bike. I had him lifting weights. Oh yeah, that was the funniest thing ever.
Erika, she even had the headphones like in his ears.
Oh, that's adorable. I'm gonna have to go deep diving after this to
That
find
one
that
wasn't
picture.
so deep. Luckily, it wasn't so
Okay,
deep. But
good,
I
good.
went through them all, and at one point, I'm like, oh, this photo says it was like 518 weeks ago. Wow,
That's crazy.
I was creeping.
You usually do.
Yeah, I like creeping.
Understandable.
All right, Beth, I have one final question for you.
All right.
This one is much easier, I think. But we have our Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to choose a song. So would you like to add something to our playlist?
I would love to. So I would like to add Katy Perry's Roar because my son at school, they listen to music in gym class, and he was like telling me about this song that they listened to, and it was Roar, and he was like, "How do you know what that song is?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, that song's been around since like way before you were born." But he told me, he's like, "That is your Boston Marathon song for this year." So
Aw.
this year when I was running and I turned off my music for a while, and when I got to the last mile, when I hit those, when I went under the thing and then I came back out and I was at the turns to get onto Boylston, I was like, I got to turn my music on, and I hit random for my like marathon playlist, and that's the song that came on. So I was like,
How
this is
perfect.
like destiny, and my son's with me. So Roar by Katy Perry, 100%.
You got it. Oh, I love
you.
that. That is a wonderful story.
You know, I got to ask actually because you brought up Boston again, and I kind of disappeared for a tiny bit, and I wanted to ask you this about Boston. What is it like training for the Boston Marathon in the cold, frigid Maine winters?
It's it's not bad. I mean, like I'm very fortunate that like I have access to the bike path near us. So that's really great. Once it starts clearing out, like where my parents live, it's very hilly, and so I can go and I can make some really great loops on those for varying distances. I have access to my gym that is really wonderful, and I also have like a treadmill in my house. So between all those things, it always works out. And I mean, Boston itself is, it's a challenging course for sure. But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely think that like the things that I have access to have allowed me to train for it fairly well. So bike paths and hills. That's all you.
What's the bike path there? Is that I think I know the one. Does it go through is it south of Old Orchard Beach and it goes through Stanford, is it?
That's the green belt. That's a really good one too, and that one goes
Yeah.
a far away. So that's definitely one that you can use. But I'm fortunate where I live. It doesn't connect to that one. I wish it did. I think that's like the plan eventually. But the one that I have, it goes more north. So you can go through Brunswick and Topsom and places like that.
Well, that was great. That was awesome. This was fun. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you reached out to us after the
Yeah.
Lindsay episode, and I know we had to wait a little while to get you on, but this was fantastic.
Worth the wait. It was
Yeah.
worth
Thank
it.
you so much. It
Yeah,
was so much fun.
Yeah, next time, promise me when you see us, no matter
will.
what mood you're in,
Say
you're going
hi.
to stop and
Yes,
say hi.
please.
I don't care if you're running the Boston Marathon or in the middle of labor. Stop and
Okay.
say hi.
I will do
Be
that
like,
for sure.
yeah. I've been there for deliveries for multiple babies, so I'm experienced. I can be
good.
like, oh, hey, how you doing? Do you need me to jump in? Do you need me? You know, maybe I won't do that, but I am experienced.
My poor husband didn't know what to do, and when that happened, he was just like, "I've never seen you in so much pain. I don't know what to do." I was like, "Well, here we be." So
They are two of the coolest experiences I've ever experienced, and
Yeah.
both were very different because the boys were C-section, and that was wild. That
Oh.
was so cool. It was so cool.
Mm.
And the natural birth for my daughter was just like, whoa. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I know they
We'll
kept
just leave it
asking
at
if
that.
I wanted like a mirror. I was like, I don't want to see. Like, it's already like enough that like my mom and like my husband are like watching, and there's a doctor. Like, this is. I kept like trying to like direct them. Like the TV was on. I'm like, oh look, C-SPAN's on. Everybody like watch C-SPAN. You know, like. But
Well, I'll tell you, when my boys are born, I walk in. I'm the last one in the room because they make you wait, and they're all waiting for you. They all have like the knives and everything ready, and they're all in the gowns and everything. And it's like, okay, here comes the husband, and they go, here's a stool. You can sit on this stool and hold your wife's hand. So it was a C-section with the boys, and there was this curtain in
mhm.
between like her head and her belly, and I can't see anything. And I'm like, but I want to watch. And they said, well, you can watch if you want, you know, just stay over here. And I get up right away. I push the stool away, and there's this one woman, and her job was, when I walk in, to pay attention to me and determine if I'm the kind of guy who's going to pass out or not.
A
And
fainter.
she saw how excited I was, and that I wanted to stand up and watch.
That's so
and she's like, okay, I don't have to worry about him. I can go
He's
to my next
fine.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. This dad, he's good. He's going to be fine. It was so cool. It was so cool.
I was a C-section baby, but this was like in the 80s, and my dad wasn't allowed to be in the room, so he had to be like outside.
Mm.
And my mom, because like they don't like knock you out when you're gonna have a C-section, but they were telling my mom that like it might feel like you're drowning because like they have to give you this certain medication, and like they're like, you're gonna think that you can't breathe, but you're gonna be breathing. And my mom was like, just knock me out. Like, I don't want to feel that. Like, it's gonna cause me stress. And they were like,
That's scary.
yeah, and they're like, oh no, you're fine. And my mom said the last thing she remembers was she swiped at like one of the stands, and then they knocked her out, and like then they took me out, brought me out to my dad. But yeah, I was just like, oh my God. So my mom was like, you should have a C-section. I'm like, I don't want to have a C-section. You're telling me like you wanted to get knocked out because they told you would feel like you weren't going to breathe. And she was like, well, I don't remember that. I'm like, well, yeah, because they knocked you out. But
My dad
That's
said
funny.
this story, and it's kind of the same because I was a C-section baby too. He got to be in there. He goes in, and he's very right because it was the same experience for me. Doctor's hands go in, and then they come up with the baby just like that. It was wild. It was wild. This was so
I have
cool.
nothing to add to this, so I'm sorry. I have cat children. That's it.
there you go.
I guess we'll have to end it on
Oof.
there. We'll
Yeah.
have to end it there. So awesome. You have a cat named Tuca. You have an awesome kid and an awesome
So
husband
much in
and
common.
family.
I love
Yeah,
it.
you have a mother who supports you at every race, even though she tries to get you to end early and go home. I love your story, Beth. I love your story, Neuts. Your story was awesome.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
good luck in about a month at the I will try to get this out. Everyone listening, I hope this is out the week of your Mount Washington Auto Road race. That's going to be my goal.
All right.
Drop it that Tuesday.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll be tracking you.
Yeah.
it'll
I
be
hope you
fun.
enjoy
next
it.
year we'll be at the race.
I have no doubt I'm going to
Don't-
enjoy it.
Well, this was great. So thank you, Beth, for coming on the podcast. Thanks for reaching out. This is honestly, it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun.
Thank you.
We had such a blast. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Everybody, Beth Neuts on the On the Run podcast.
Newtsy, we love you. Oh, you were so much fun. Thank you for coming on and talking with us. We had a blast. I can't wait to see how your race goes. And I believe we get to talk to you again pretty soon for an
Right.
OTR Live.
She has the Mount Washington race this
Yes.
weekend, and we're going to have her back for OTR Live after
Very
that.
excited to hear about it.
That's going to be fun. We are still at Scott's house. It is 10:20.
We did it again.
We did it again. We're still here, Scott.
Oops. We
It's all
did it
your fault.
again.
Scott's we over 2 hours of content there. Unbelievable.
Worth it.
We
So
had
worth it.
working with the video. It didn't really work out for me the way I wanted. I think it did work. And then when I took a break because I thought I could make it better, I think I made it worse.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
As long
have to
as
figure that out.
the audio part works, I guess we're good.
Yeah. So for those who are still listening, it is Tuesday. Tomorrow, I am going to drop our first YouTube video. So our YouTube channel is out. There's a couple shorts out there. They call them YouTube shorts, like reels. But I'm going to drop a YouTube video of when you and I went live last week after the Hollis Fast 5K and after your Run Revel.
Yes.
So that's going to drop tomorrow. If you're listening today, it'll be on YouTube. And if you can't find a YouTube channel, because Scott, you
I couldn't even find it for a while. Just scroll.
I fell asleep when I was trying to scroll
Yeah.
down low enough.
Just scroll.
it's hard. We only got 6 subscribers. I don't know. I
Working
found
on
it.
it.
I found it when I typed in on the runs, all one word. But here's the deal. It's going to be in our link tree. So you go to our Instagram, you click on the link in the bio, it will be in the link tree, the YouTube page, and I'm going to drop that YouTube video.
Easy peasy lemon
It's a work in
squeezy.
progress, but it's going to be our first OTR Live that's on there. We got another OTR Live this week and the following week. Not a guarantee it's actually going to be live. I'm waiting on YouTube to approve my live streaming
Oh.
authorization. They may have done it already, but they
Interesting.
didn't do it over the weekend. So
Yeah.
I'm working on the
Slackers.
YouTube channel, Scott. We're going to be on a video podcast soon.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to give me a free dry suit with OTR on it, I'll wear it
That's
proudly,
right.
man.
So,
We'll deck you out.
Erika, give everyone a little teaser about what we just heard from Scott.
How do I even put that into words? He just had an epic Kona experience from the road to Kona, which you can listen to previous episodes. But
I'll have a recap around the 4th of July week, too.
yep, but there was a lot of work getting to Kona, a lot of postponements, a lot of work getting back into Kona. I mean,
Just the at Kona story.
Yeah.
We were talking about
this
code
poor
browns
man,
galore.
This poor man can't get
How
away
many
from code
layers of
browns.
skin do you have until you have none left? IVs,
Yeah.
hydrate salt, maybe a 911 call.
Maybe.
It was
But a pretty nice spectating experience also.
That's right. That's right.
Lots
So-
of fun to come.
Yeah, Scott, that was awesome. So we're still in Scott's basement. I need to go home and edit the tros, as we call them. I want to show you this, though.
What is that?
At my gym, there is a new wellness place called Origin Wellness Company. Check this out. I'm going to throw
Oh,
it to you
God.
across the room. Let's see if you can catch.
I'm nervous. I'm gonna get a paper
Oh,
cut.
what an
No,
awful
it's by my
toss.
feet. Hold on.
All right, let me explain it to you.
Okay.
There's this room in the gym, and when you walk in and it's brand new, and you go there, you sit down, and are you cool with needles?
I'm not cool with needles.
Basically, you go there and get rehydrated. They got like a hangover cocktail. They got like an athletic one and all this. I am going to try it out. And I told her I'll probably be there Friday, the Friday before the Goffstown Gallop.
This shit ain't cheap.
I know it's not.
Don't tell your wife.
Oh, she already did one.
She did one
Yeah,
too?
no, she's
Oh,
all into
God.
it. Yeah.
Which one are you gonna get?
It could be worse. It could be drugs. We could be doing drugs with needles and stuff. Like at least
I guess
we're.
this is a little bit better. So what are you gonna do?
Please tell me that she got a demo because she works there.
Oh, I don't think so because it's a different company that's like
Oh,
renting out the.
rude.
They used to have virtual
Space.
golf there, and you could go and get golf training. The golf guy left, and someone else rented out the space. So it's right when you walk in, like
Oh,
anyone can go. You don't have to be a member of the gym.
It's a real moneymaker
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
what are you gonna get? The athlete's cocktail?
I think so. But that also kind of sounds like it's something you'd use as a recovery. I'm really looking for like something I would want to do before a
So
race.
you need the Energizer then.
Yeah.
So before you do this, you're going to have to chronicle your experience. How do you feel beforehand?
I think
I need like your mental state. I need like thirst level. I don't know. I'm making
I
this
want
up
to
on the
do
spot.
yeah. So chronicle the next couple of weeks.
I mean, just leading up to it, then we'll see how the race goes for you.
Well, do you
how
want to
you're-
chronicle with me?
I don't want to get this
Oh,
done.
come on. That's the whole point why I brought the card.
I ain't paying for that. No way. I'm not.
A
Should
lot-
I even
a
tell
lot
like
of
the
sports-
listeners how much this costs?
A
It's
lot of
just
sports
expensive.
actually ban IVs
Do they?
as a form of
Cheating.
well,
Juicing
Is it
up.
like a
because they call
banned
it cheating,
substance?
but as a form of race prep or
Oh,
I mean I don't think I'm mistaken that if Iron Man knows that you take an IV before the race, you will be disqualified.
wow. Well, let's hope Dave
Does the
French
Goffstown
doesn't.
Gallup look into that?
I don't know, but don't make them.
Well, speaking of the Goffstown Gallup, guys, remember, we're going to be there on June 24th.
Yes, Saturday.
Yeah,
Goffstown,
your
New Hampshire.
hometown race.
Yep, 8:30 a.m. at the Parks and Rec building.
And we just talked about this rain or thunderstorm or shine.
It happens.
We're going to go.
Get used to some not smoggy. What?
Well, I was-
sweaty, gross,
I was
humid. Humid's the word I was.
I was
going to
talk about this Wednesday. I guess you told me the weather's not looking great for Wednesday, but we're going to be at RWB.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Run, Walk, Brew. I think it's at
Bonfire.
Yeah. I mean, let's just go and stay up on. Who said we have to run?
It wouldn't be the first time. I did a lot of my race directing.
And I
prep
have a
there.
key I have to give back to Chris for the
That's
storage
true.
unit.
Yes.
So we'll be
Bring
there
that.
Wednesday.
Mhm.
And Wednesday, the YouTube video will drop. And we're going to try to do another OTR live on Thursday.
You guys are keeping me busy.
I can't guarantee, though, that OTR live will be real live streaming yet.
Mhm.
So on
Well, one
this
will
Thursday.
release at least, right? Oh, who are we? Oh,
Oh, well, one will drop Thursday. You're
one
right.
will drop Thursday,
We'll
but
have
we
it-
were going to record one.
Well, we recorded it yesterday, and people could watch. I actually shared a link to
Did
be an
anybody?
audience member.
Did anybody?
I didn't even look to check.
Oh.
And I deleted the post after because what's the point after we did the
True.
recording? But you're listening today, Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the YouTube video will drop. Thursday, we're going to have an OTR live drop that we already recorded with some wicked smart friends of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be into the weekend. I don't know what's next, so we'll record next Monday and put a new one out
Well,
Tuesday.
this weekend is Father's Day weekend, so shout out to all you fathers and grandfathers out there.
Congratulations, Scott is a new grandfather.
Yep, you got your boys. Hi, Dad.
Yep. It's also dance recital week.
Oh,
They keep putting this
I'm
on.
so sorry.
They keep putting this on Father's Day weekend. It's like, well, why don't you put dance recital on Mother's Day? I don't understand this.
That would make a little more sense.
Right,
but,
right.
That's okay.
I think the mothers, though, who run the dance recital places said, we don't want to ruin our Mother's Day. Let's just put it on Father's Day. So I think they're the ones who did it this way.
There you go.
So yeah, dance recital this weekend, and I
you
don't
should
know what
just
else.
feel fortunate that there isn't a certain hockey team playing in a certain big
you had to go
big
there.
game
Don't disappoint. me.
number 6 or 7 that might have taken place if said team had done what they should have done.
Oh.
And Eric's energy level just went from a 10 to a 2.
That's it for the pod, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Check out the link in our bio to get the link to the YouTube channel. And Scott, you were talking about you went to Nice, or no, you went to Italy, you went to Oregon, you went on all these trips sailing across the world. We have a Patreon page now, and you can support us on Patreon if you go to patreon.com/ontheruns.
I did already give him the special Patreon magnet.
Oh,
So that's a preemptive
You know
gift
what?
for you,
He
Scott.
apparently he's doing all this stuff. He must have infinity amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a special category. We got the friends of the pod, the lovers of the pod, and then we're going to make
The
one
Scott
called the
Black.
Scott Blacks of the pod.
It's because I don't friend any pods that I can do these things.
That's true.
Well,
No subscription.
if you
I'm
ever
gonna let you work on him. You guys are best friends.
if you
guys are
ever
fine.
friend one, you got to. I hope it's this one.
Yes, if he has a choice. There we go.
Yeah, you
Let
do.
it- let it be us.
You do have choices. I know there's other ones out there.
I'm
you
not
like.
gonna go begging for money though. We're good.
No, I'm
You
not
can.
begging. I'm just telling them.
All right. Okay.
Hey, I appreciate you letting us do this. It is now 10:30. I got to edit this. You got to go home.
I'm tired.
Is this the latest one you've been up in a while, Scott? Or since haven't been training, are you always up late now?
I'm always up late now.
Yeah.
He's over here yawning.
We got to
anyways.
change. We got to change his mojo and get him motivated because
We'll find you something.
you'll learn he has something in mind for the fall.
My phone is on automatic do not disturb every day until 10 a.m.
Well, that's because you're your girlfriend. Because she blows you up your phone all the time.
Has nothing to do with her.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Erika.
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Guys, have a great week. I hope you check out the YouTube stuff. Check out the OTR Live. It is a work in progress. We're learning every day and getting better at this, and we're having a lot of fun. So maybe we'll see you Wednesday. Maybe we'll see you at the Goffstown Gallop. We hope to see you guys coming up soon.
So let's bring it home. Don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
Bethany, I'm going to end this, but don't hang up.
Okay.
I called you Bethany.
Elizabeth.
Oh my God. I know.
All good.